And welcome to the Harbridge and Cross training program on eye protection, care, use, and type. This is found in Chapter 6 of your Health and Safety Manual, version 1.0. Harbridge and Cross is committed to health and safety and believes in order to be effective, health and safety must be cultural and expressed at all levels of the organization. This is our agenda for today. First, we're going to discuss the roles and responsibilities of all workplace parties. From there, we'll move into the legislative requirements. Next, we're going to talk about some types of activities that require eye protection, some of the injuries and hazards that can cause eye damage. We're then going to look at prevention, the type of eye protections that are available here at Harbridge and Cross. Next, we'll move on to care and maintenance, a summary, and of course, there will be an eye protection multiple choice test at the end of the program. Roles and responsibilities. At Harbridge and Cross, there are no free lunches. Everyone has a job to do. Beginning with senior management, their job is to review the guidelines and training requirements for PPE annually and to apply changes to the manual as required. They are to ensure that all job sites have adequate PPE based on the type of work activities expected, and of course provide all workers training on how to use PPE effectively. Superintendents and supervisors have an important job to do. They are to review with workers their daily activities, hazards, and ways to mitigate risk through the use of specialized PPE. Review with workers the required training programs on the care, use, and type of specialized PPE, including this program on eye protection. Have available when required specialized PPE for the required activities, and verify through site inspections that workers are using specialized PPE as required. Your health and safety coordinators are there to support you. They are to verify through site inspections that workers are using as required specialized PPE, report any violations of the PPE policy to the site superintendent, and to provide disciplinary action as required. To train workers on the care, use, and types of specialized PPE for their required activities. And of course, workers, you must participate as required in the Harbridge and Cross training program on the care, use, and type of specialized PPE. Identify on your DTA specialized PPE required to minimize risk when performing an activity, and to review as required specialized PPE to mitigate hazards. Legislative requirements. If you look into your Green Book's Occupational Health and Safety Act, you'll find under Section 21(1), all workers shall wear protective clothing and use such protective equipment or devices or as necessary to protect the worker against the hazards to which the worker may be exposed to. Regulations, Section 24, a worker shall use protection appropriate in the circumstances where there is a risk of eye injury to the worker. And of course, when we're looking at eye protection, we want to refer to the CSA standard number Z943, Industrial Eye and Face Protection Standards. You want to make sure your equipment conforms to these standards. Activities requiring eye protection. In construction, exposed eyes are susceptible to many physical, chemical, and radiation hazards. Eye protection is often the only practical means of preventing injuries from physical hazards, such as using hands or power tools, in which case you have flying particles, chemical hazards, such as applying chemicals, and of course the splashback effect. You also want to refer to your SDS whenever you're using your chemicals to make sure you have the best protective measures in place. And of course, radiation hazards. This includes near or prolonged exposures to ultraviolet radiations, which is visible or invisible light rays. So again, in this first example, using power tools, flying particles can damage your eyes. The splashback effect, and of course, radiation or light wave hazards. Injuries and hazards. In construction, injuries from lack of eye protection may result in a broad array of injuries, including minor cuts from flying particles, chemical burns such as splashing, and of course, the loss of eyesight from radiation. Physical hazards such as cuts, abrasions, or impalement from flying particles or dust, such as this example here from the X-ray image. Chemical hazards such as chemical burns from splashback, heat, or acid, and again, this is shown in the middle picture here. You can see discharged fluid emanating from the eye. And of course, radiation hazards, which includes partial or permanent blindness from light waves or glares. In this picture here, this person has experienced blindness because his eyes weren't protected. Prevention, the types of eye protection. At Harbridge and Cross, we offer you a number of different types of eye protection to protect your eyes. The first one are spectacles class 1. They are to protect your eyes from physical and radiation hazards such as flying particles, dust, and dirt. Note, anti-fogging compounds can also enhance your visibilities, and they are offered both in a tint and clear version. Goggles protect your eyes from chemical splashbacks and physical hazards. Ventilation ports on the side here allow air to pass and prevent any kind of fogging from taking place. Face shields protect your eyes from physical, chemical, and radiation hazards and are used mostly for concrete patchwork and high-frequency chipping. This face shield is designed to be applied on top of your hard hat in order to give you the best fit possible. Hygiene. Ensure eye protection is cleaned regularly to enhance visibility. Replace when cracked or scratches appear on the lenses. The care and maintenance. You want to check prior to each use for any kind of cracks, pits, or damage to your equipment. You want to replace them as necessary, and of course you want to restore your equipment in a nice clean area. You want to take care of your equipment so your equipment can take care of you. This is just a summary chart showing you based on the type of hazards and their descriptions both the minimum and optimal protection that is available. The first one are Group A. They include flying objects such as chipping and concrete fragments. The minimum protection, of course, are your spectacles class 1, and your optimal protection include goggles or face shield. Group B include flying particles, dust, dirt, or the wind. They also include minimum protection spectacles class 1 or optimal protection including goggles or face shield. Your Group C hazards include heat, glare, sparks, or splashback from molten metals. In this case here, spectacles class 1 serve as a minimum protection, but again, your optimum protection will of course include your goggles or face shield. Class D include chemicals and acid splashback. In this case, your goggles or face shields are your only options available. And again, you'll get more information from your SDS sheets. Group F includes flares, light waves, or welding activities. And again, minimum protection includes your spectacles class 1 or side shields. And your optimum protection is going to include goggles with filter lenses. Care. Eye protection and construction are subject to many damage-causing hazards. They include inspect your lenses for pitting and scratches that might impair your vision. Loosened frames must be replaced or removed from surface, and use anti-fogging solution to enhance your visibility. Let's look at a little short video about eye protection.
We have an amazing demonstration of why safety glasses are important in the lab. It's a very simple demonstration. Sealed tube of water heated up in front of some tomatoes. 2 of the tomatoes are wearing safety glasses, 2 of them are not. We use tomatoes because tomatoes are a bit like eyeballs, and we thought it would be much too gruesome to get real eyeballs from the butcher. When we heat one of these sealed tubes, they're called Krakatoa tubes, after the volcano that exploded catastrophically in the late 19th century. As you heat it, the water begins to boil, water turns into steam, the volume of steam is much bigger than the volume of the water, so the pressure goes up and up and up and can reach several hundred atmospheres if the glass is really strong. Then suddenly, and pieces of glass fly everywhere. And if you look at the poor tomatoes, you can see that the tomatoes without the safety glasses were pierced by pieces of glass. One of them was actually peeled. Gives a new meaning to having your eyes peeled. You could see where the glass had gone through the eyeball. But like all demonstrations that we do, we thought we would do it several times. In the second run, the glass tube wasn't strong enough and it went off with a really quite small bang. In fact, in high speed, you can see the tube flying away like a rocket. The third tube was an enormous explosion. Really, even Neil, our gallant technician, was a bit shaken. In this case, the eyeballs with the safety glasses were slightly damaged because the explosion blew the glasses up. And of course, in our simulation, there isn't a nose, so some of the glass got through the gap where you would normally have your nose. The protecting effect of the glasses, we call them glasses, they're actually made out of plastic, polycarbonate. If you look close up, you can see where the plastic has been pitted by the flying bits of glass. The safety glasses are probably not usable again afterwards because of the scratches, but you can throw those away. You can't throw away your eyeballs more than once.
Now let's move to the eye protection multiple choice test. Which of the following is a worker's responsibility? Does it include A, provide specialized PPE to the workforce for the required activities? B, report any violations of the specialized PPE policy to the site superintendent and discipline other workers? Or C, is it to use as required specialized PPE to mitigate your hazards? Question 2. Harbridge and Cross supplies which of the following eye protection methods to the workforce? Is it A, welding mask, B, neoprene, or C, spectacles class 1? And lastly, which of the following are hazards associated with eye protection? Is it A, physical hazards from cuts or abrasions from flying particles? B, radiation hazards, ultraviolet light waves or glares? C, chemical hazards such as the splashback effect? Or D, all of the above? As you can see here from the answers above, these are the correct choices. Thank you for participating in this training program. If you have any questions or concerns about this or any other training program, please contact the Harbridge and Cross Safety Department. Thank you.